N is the major antagonist of the Black and White games, and the leader of Team Plasma, and the only actual villain to catch a legendary Pokemon without a Master Ball or some type of manipulation. N resents humans and wants them to be separate from Pokemon. So for this video, I'm going to be beating Pokemon Emerald Imperium, a newish hard difficulty ROM hack that covers Gen 3 or the Hoenn region. The main point of the challenge is to mimic N in the Black and White games. Every time I beat a gym leader, I must box the previous team until I become the champion. And I cannot change the gender and nature at all. Mostly because I'm too lazy to optimize all the future Pokemon I'm going to use. With that being said, can I beat Pokemon Imperium as N? Like and subscribe, and let's get into it. I named myself N, then spawned into the typical Emerald moving truck. After a while, I'm finally let out, and my adoptive mom introduced me to the new house, and I see Vigoroths helping with the work. I can't stand this, and I immediately leave home and never come back. I try to leave the village, but a little girl stops me and says I cannot leave without a Pokemon. So I decide to break into a house and steal one, but I get caught immediately, and this lady tries to put me on with her daughter. I go upstairs, and the moment I put my hands on the Pokeball, I get caught. Damn, I'm a bad thief. Girl's name is May, and she tells me her mom told her about me and that we should be friends. She also tells me her father is a professor, so after talking to her, I go to her father to get a Pokemon. I talk to her father, and he tells me I can pick a starter, and if I beat his daughter, I keep it. I decided to choose Mudkip because it was just calling to me, speaking complex words. Pick me, bitch ass nigga. I immediately left to find May, and after passing through Route 101 in Odell Town, I found May and absolutely destroyed her. She ran home afterwards, and I went back to her father to claim my prize of a starter and a Pokedex. Before I leave town forever, my mom stops me and hands me a bag of rare candies, something I'm going to be using a lot. After getting Pokeballs, I catch a Krogunk and a Poliwag. After adding 2 new members to the team, I go to Petalburg City and I meet my absent adoptive father and a little kid named Wally, who asked me to help him catch a Pokemon, and I refuse greatly and get out of there fast. I'll come back when I'm strong enough to beat my father. To finish off my team, I catch a Farfetch'd, a Starly, and a Growlithe, then make my way to Petalburg Woods and ran into a businessman getting robbed by a member of some type of organization using Pokemon to steal. I can't stand for this. I can't stand it. So I gave the member straight BTA, and he rewarded me with a great ball. I made my way out of Petalburg Forest and immediately got flashbacks when I saw Gardenia. My little my little Mudkip cannot handle all that, so I ran as fast as I could and ran into Dawn, a friend of May from another region who wants to get revenge. So I beat her up and she ran away, and I finally make it to Rustboro City. Before I fight Roxanne, I decide to find and battle Candace, a gym leader from Sinnoh. She starts off with Snover and sets up the snow, and I start off with Mudkip. I knock out Snover with 3 Rock Tombs, and she brings in Spill, and I knock it out with 3 Rock Tombs. She then goes into Sea Turtle, Sea Turtle, and knocks out my Mudkip with the Nice Fang. I go into Farfetch'd and use 2 Rock Smashes to knock out Sea Turtle. She then brings in Delibird, and I switch into Starvavia for the Intimidate. I use Quick Attack for Chip, then Staravia goes down to an Ice Shard. I then go into Growlithe and end the battle with an Ember. That battle was pretty easy, but the next 2 gym leaders should be harder. After my easy win, Candace gave me the TM Icy Wind, and I made my way to Rustboro City and fought Roxanne. Roxanne started with Rhyhorn, and I started with Mudkip. I one-shot Rhyhorn with Brawn, and she goes into Gligar. Mudkip dies and 2 bulldozers from Gligar, so I go into Poliwag, and Roxanne switches into Paldean Wooper on a water gun. I use Hypnosis and switch into Staravia. Wooper then goes down to 3 wings attacks from Staravia, and Roxanne brings in Nosepass. She gets, I get some growls off and sack Staravia for the free switch and the Farfetch. But Roxanne switches black into Geigar. Bro, my pronunciations are so bad. I'm so sorry. So I switch into Krogunk for the sack and then go to Poliwag. I get a water gun off before dying to a wing attack the next turn. I go into Farfetch and chip it down with Peck before switching into Growlithe for Intimidate. I then kill Gligar with an Ember, and Roxanne brought in her last Pokemon Nosepass. Gligar gets knocked out, and I finish off Nosepass with 2 Rock Smashes from Farfetch to get my first gym badge. After getting my first gym badge, I got the Rock Tomb TM from Tomb Sahur. My bad. Yeah, I'm editing this out. From Roxanne, and I boxed my entire team. I then called a Ninkata, Abra, Buddha, Bidu, and Volibee, Sandygast, and Magby. I then ran into this old man whose Pokemon was stolen by a Team Aqua member. And ooh, I can't stand them. So I make my way into the cave and lay straight. BTA. I then saved the Pelican or whatever it is. Afterwards, the sailor said he would give me a free ride to the next city. So I made my way to his house and ran into May, who's back for revenge for beating her earlier. I start with Ninjask and she starts with Golbat. Not smart, I know, but after getting off 2 aerial aces, Ninjask dodged to a wing attack. So I go into Kadabra and finish it off with the confusion. May brings in Grovyle and Kadabra dies after getting 1 confusion off. So I switch into Magby and knock it out with a fire spin. She brings in Cub Fu, not Kung Fu, and I sack Magby to switch into Sandygast. I knock it out with 2 mud shots, and then May brings in Hatterum, who dies to an ominous win. After beating her, she gives me her number, which I immediately delete because I'm only attracted to guys. I make my way to the old man's house, and he gives me a ride to Dewford Town. I decided to explore the caves, and I ran into the champion, Steven, and he gave me a TM for free. Nice guy. The only thing left to do is challenge Brawley, the second gym leader. And I'm not gonna lie, I lost 7 times to this one gym leader. Mostly because I wouldn't put items on my Pokemon, and because my team was horrible. I'm not gonna lie, my team was horrible. And the problem with this run is I have to plan for rival fights, boss fights, as in team leaders and gym leaders at the same time. But I'm trying not to reuse Pokemon. I'm trying. But after adding a Mawile and a Dugtrio to the team from Dewford Cave, I was able to properly challenge Brawling. I started with Dugtrio, and he started with a special fighting electric Pikachu. He switches to Gurdurr, and I switch to Mawile for the Intimidate. After 2 covets, Gurdurr gets knocked out, and Brawley goes into his ace, Haryana, who finishes off Mawile, while I switch into Kadabra, who gets off of Psybeam before dying to a Guts boosted Rock Tomb. I switch into Ninjask, who finishes off Hariyama with the aerial ace. After Hariyama dies, he brings in Dustform Lycanroc, who one-shots my Ninjask with a 4-time super effective Accelerock. I go into Sandygast and I knock out Lycanroc with 2 mud shots. Then Brawley brings in Pikachu, who barely survives a mud shot from Sandygast, and Sandygast goes down to a Draining Kiss. So sad. I go into Dugtrio, who finishes off Pikachu and beats Sandslash, which gives me my second gym badge. So, future me here, future Glib. The answer is, fuck no. It's not. He can't beat the game, or more importantly, I can't beat the game because I suck. I genuinely suck. I spent 2 hours and somehow I lost over 100 times. Over 100 times. Either to Gardenia, to Watson, to Watson, to Fantina, or just to Dawn. Like, just to random people. I was losing to random people. So I think it's time to throw in the towel. Throw in the towel and say, I gotta sideline this challenge, come back to it. This is exactly what I did to my other one. But it's more valid because this is actually hard. And I think I suck. Well, I don't think I suck. I think I'm just not skilled enough. But I'm gonna come back to this. And when I do, I'm gonna be ready. And it's also because Emerald Imperium's route thingamajig document is so ass. It's so bad. It's so bad. But anyways, I'm gonna come back to it. Like and subscribe. And bye.